Welcome to Velocity. My name is Bengt Nilsson. Today we're going to look at how to edit plans using Velocity. So all your plans are stored in the database. So just search for your plan. So this one was called M99. You find it. And you get some basic data about the plan, how many hours it is and so forth. Then you can look at it as a Gantt view. So this is what we have. You can scroll down. And Velocity is a critical chain project management tool, which means that the deliveries will be protected with buffers. But you really don't have to worry about that right now. Then you can have a look at your plan as a network. Okay, so let's see here. So I have some requirements, I do. Then I have some design, and I assemble and test over here. And I now realize that I need to add another task, that I need add some testing requirements as well. So I pull out from the task that I want to be the predecessor and drop, and I will have a new task. Then I can click on it to give it a name. So this is FAT, Factory Acceptance Test, requirements. Okay. Then I can decide what should be my successor. So maybe it's over here, prepare for FAT. Okay, then I can click on the task again and continue editing it. So I now need to decide on some resources. So I know I want to have my system engineer on this, Sven, so I put him in there. But I know he needs some support, so I also put Peter Electrical. And I can think about how long will this take with these two guys. Well, it probably takes them a week, so 5 days I put. And I now immediately get calculated that if they are allocated 100%, unit 1, it will be 40 hours each. But I think that for Peter, it will not be a full time. He's just going to review some documents and give some insights. So I change him to 10 hours. And it's immediately calculated then that this is 0.25. And if I don't like 0.25, I can change that to something 30%, and it will calculate the hours instead. And then I come to think of that there are some other things they need to think about. So I think they really need 8 days. Then it's immediately calculated how many hours does this now mean. So the behavior is that when you change the duration, then the hours are recalculated. So the unit is what is fixed. So the behavior is what usually is called fixed units. Okay, so that's the way the Velocity tasks will behave. There are other things you can change, like earlier start date, which will set a constraint saying that this task should have start no earlier than whatever date you decide here. You can have something called report expected finish date, which means that the task is automatic, but we can return to that later. So let's say we're happy with this now. So let's go back to the Gantt view, and we can now reschedule the plan. Reschedule it from today and onwards, and have a look at what it looks like. So here is now our new task. So it comes in here, it's blue, so it's not interfering, it is not one of the critical tasks. But if we now want the plan, and this is usually true, to finish as early as possible. We're interested in what is the critical chain or the critical path through this project. And we can see we have a couple of different deliveries here. First we have the customer freeze, so it's one endpoint here. The next one is ready for assembly, we have it there. The third one is ready for test, and then we have our delivery at the end. And we can see that there are different chains of events leading up to these endpoints. So we can zoom in on these, the critical ones, and we can see what it looks like. Okay, so here are some requirements work that we need to align with the customer so we can do a customer freeze. That looks fine. Then we have the next delivery, which is ready for assembly. And here we see something strange. So the critical chain is jumping, although these tasks don't have any logical relationships. So what is happening here? Well, this type of behavior means that we are hitting a resource constraint. And we can see here who it is. So it's Kim Software. So it means that since Kim has to do all three of these, he will sequence the work. And that means that the critical chain will go through Kim. So it means that here we now really have an opportunity to make this project go faster if we can offload Kim in a smart way. So let's have a look at the full network again. So we see we have one chain of events down here and another chain of events up here. And these two are interconnected now via Kim. So if we can offload him here, it means that this chain of events up here can continue without interfering with the chain down here. Okay, so let's find someone else to do Kim's job here. So we can see what resources do we have. So we can see that maybe we can put Glenn instead of Kim on this. So we select Glenn. And then we realize that Glenn is much more experienced than Kim. So we can say that this probably will go a little bit faster. Or we can say that this will be less effort for Glenn. So we can say he will do this in 120 hours. That means that he is not going to be fully occupied. And since we know that Glenn, we are stealing him from someone else, this is a good idea. Okay, so let's save that. And we can now recalculate this plan and check what impact will it have. So we can see here that the ready for assembly was before projected to finish on the 13th of October. And there is a buffer also protecting it, 19th of December. But let's at this time focus on this date here. So we have the 14th of November. Okay, so let's reschedule it now, taking into account that we now have offloaded so what we see now we have the 3rd of October, or the 2nd of November. So it means that we saved 2 weeks here. So that's great. And if we now look at the critical chain, we can see that now all the chains are logical dependencies. So in some meaning, the critical path and the critical chain are now the same. So it means that the only way now to speed things up is actually to make these tasks go faster. And that is much more difficult. Okay, so maybe we are happy with this plan right now. We can go back to the network, arrange the layout, and we can see that we now have a critical chain, going through the red tasks here, and we can see it's a logical chain of events. Okay. There are, of course, many other things you can edit. You can add summary tasks. You can move around. We can have a look at that. So maybe you want to move design, software, and network after the control panels. So you can collapse that summary task and you pull it down, and then you can expand it again. And we see that design, software, network now, so we can pull these in, so we can easily move them around. So the control panel is now below, but it also ended up inside design software. We don't like that, so we just pull it out, and it will be on the right level. So it's very easy to move the tasks around. You can, of course, also change the order of the task if you like. Just pull them up and down like that. Okay, you can even make new connections directly in the Gantt, if you like that. You can also click on any connection and delete it. So you're completely free to edit these networks any way you like. Okay, thank you very much. That will be all for now.